radio play written by J.D. Evans Jr., starring Elvis D. Tripp and his traveling troupe of strange voices, and featuring the musical styling of Milford Whittle and his finger puppet marching band, which soothes my silly announcements by Warhol the Potato. We continue with Chapter 22, Darla Trivit's Dream. Junior Company Director Jack Cavins was heard screaming,
"Yes! Yes! Yes!"
over and over in a confession to Darla Trivit, who had just taken control of his mind. Junior Company Director Jack Cavins admitted to doing everything that happened in Cloudland in the ballroom, where just moments earlier, in complete control of Darla's mind, Cavins had forced her simulacrum to do her sexy dance like pretend Ginger Rogers. By virtue of controlling her mind using the Orwellian mind machine interfacing equipment, he was awarded as punishment for Darla for crimes she had committed against the Imperial Director and his Orwellian consort, Lola Watkins. For Darla Trivit, this instant in time in Cloudland was the culmination of a dream Darla Trivit had experienced over and over for what appeared to be years, as Junior Company Director Jack Cavins controlled her mind and simulacrum and made her dance in a Cloudland ballroom for his pleasure. Little did Cavins know that instead of this being punishment for Darla Trivit for transgressions against the Imperial Director, this actually was something Darla enjoyed very much. Before abandoning her body and becoming a braino, Darla Trivit had danced and danced and danced every spare moment she could find. But now, instead of being controlled by Junior Company Director Jack Cavins, it was Darla Trivit who was in control, and she was enjoying being the controller.
Who's the boss now?
The Orwellian mind machine interfacing equipment experienced and analyzed every thought and emotion Darla Trivit was having and worked diligently to create the illusion that whatever Darla imagined was not just an imagination but also a realization. And so when Darla thought to herself how a crowd must be overjoyed, what she soon heard was a crowd of overjoyed observers watching, listening, and feeling everything glorious about Darla's victory over Junior Company Director Jack Cavins.
Everyone should have cotton candy and chocolate truffles.
No sooner had Darla Trivit thought to herself that everyone in the crowd should have cotton candy and chocolate truffles. The smell and taste of cotton candy and chocolate truffles perfused Cloudland, and the crowd became all the more enthusiastic. Bearing in mind that Junior Company Director Jack Cavins had not physically tortured Darla Trivit, but instead emotionally punished Darla by making her lick postage stamps while dancing the night away in Cloudland, Darla Trivit felt entitled to a little payback, which she enacted on this simulacrum of Junior Company Director Jack Cavins, who like her was a braino, a brain living inside a mirrored plastic sphere, which looked like a giant soap bubble and was the home and protective environment of the brain within, the brain which once had a human body. Darla took no small amount of pleasure in observing Junior Company Director Jack Cavins' simulacrum flapping his arms like a jumping French Canadian of Maine and yelling, "Yes! Yes! Yes!" over and over.
Who's a jumping French Canadian now?
Why a jumping French Canadian of Maine? Nobody understood, even pretend Professor Sigmund Freud. Yet this was the revenge and punishment Darla Trivit felt and enacted on Junior Company Director Jack Cavins for making her lick postage stamp and dance the night away in Cloudland for what appeared to be years and years, even though in relativistic time it was only a few milliseconds. After abandoning their physical bodies to become brains, living in mirrored, scholastic spheres, the Imperial Director, Company Directors, Junior Company Directors, and others among the brainos had what appeared to be an infinite amount of time with which to pursue what normal people would consider to be the most frivolously stupid thoughts and ideas possible. And it was in this way that Darla Trivit inadvertently insulted the Imperial Director by sharing the unusual thought that the Imperial Director's Arvelian consort, Lolawagi, was more like a shrubbery than a flower when in her plant phase.
She's more like a shrubbery than a flower.
This was not something which among normal thinkers would rise to the occasion of being a serious insult and offense. But in the world of Brainos, any adverse or bad thoughts were considered to be simply inappropriate and offensive in the extreme. Something which led the Imperial Director to give Junior Company Director Jack Kevin the security override codes for Braino, Darla Trivit's mirrored classic sphere, and by doing so to give Junior Company Director Jack Kevin complete and total control of Darla Trivit's mind, or at least what initially appeared to be complete and total control of Darla Trivit's mind. Something which Darla Trivit, in the moments when she took refuge in the island of comfort within her mind, led Darla to imagine that one day she would be able to take control of her situation and to turn the tables on Junior Company Director Jack Kevin, which is what she had just done when, in a moment of Kevin's weakness, she used the Arvelian mind machine interfacing equipment to take control of Junior Company Director Jack Kevin's mind and to make him scream and flap his arms like a jumping French-Canadian of Maine madman and professional lumberjack. This was possible because the Arvelian mind machine interfacing equipment required there always to be a dominant mind in control of it. So when in a moment of emotional weakness, Junior Company Director Jack Evans became temporarily submissive, Darla Trivit became the dominant mind, and by doing this, seized control of the Arvelian mind machine interfacing equipment. Darla enjoyed the moment until, like all such moments, it became a bit boring. And then, in a surprising move, Darla commanded Junior Company Director Jack Kevin's attention and spoke to him in a way he understood and focused his mind on the devious scheme Darla had devised while seeking refuge and comfort in the secret island in her mind. A scheme to make the Imperial Director act as if he were a bubble-making machine acolyte or champagne music maker pretend Florence Welch. Instead of being in complete and total control of the company's universe, the Imperial Director would be nothing more than an acolyte of a bubble-making machine, which insofar as Darla was concerned would be wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Not so curiously or even surprisingly, Junior Company Director Jack Kevin, like Darla Trivit, had dreamed of dancing the night away. Darla Trivit dreamed of being pretend Ginger Rogers, and Junior Company Director Jack Kevin dreamed of being pretend Fred Astaire, and the two of them danced and danced to the big band style polka music of pretend Lawrence Welch and his champagne music makers, while bubbles filled the air in the ballroom in Cloudland. Lola Walkie, who in Darla Trivit's fantasy was in her plant phase, exuded flower-like fragrances to entertain the Imperial Director, even though at the moment the Imperial Director was focused primarily on being the beautiful acolyte of a bubble machine making bubbles. Junior Company Director Jack Kevin, with Darla Trivit in tow and traveling to the asteroid to survey the progress of work on the gravity generator, was surprised when Darla Trivit had seized the opportunity to take control of his mind and to introduce him to the reality of being a dancer like pretend Fred Astaire. For Junior Company Director Jack Evans, this was almost too much to bear, and so consequently he simply stopped bearing it, stopped screaming yes, yes, yes over and over and over, and started dancing. Now junior company director Jack Evans and Darla Trivit were dancing, but there was a key difference because Darla Trivit was not being forced to lick postage stamps. Instead, this was Darla Trivit's dream, and in it, junior company director Jack Evans was employed by the Galactic Postal Service to deliver letters with postage stamps affixed after Darla Trivit already had licked them. With all this dancing, licking postage stamps, working for the Galactic Postal Service, and bubbles everywhere, even the usual stoic observers who observed everything found this to be nearly too silly for words. Also observing this was help from a bowl of apple slices in the mind of Bucky the Little Future Raccoon, Melvin Pipple, not his real name, who was relaxing at the Drake Hotel in Chicago in a Victorian claw tub bubble bath amidst an armada of plastic chips and a rubber duck, thought to himself, this has got to be the silliest thing I have ever experienced. What a bunch of goofballs. Junior company director Jack Cabot and Darla Trivit, accompanied by the Imperial Director and his Arvelian consort Lola Waki in her plant phase, were floating in Cloudland in a ballroom now filled with bubbles and an audience enjoying cotton candy and chocolate truffles amidst a show of epic proportions, and were dancing, dancing, dancing the night away for what appeared to be an eternity, although actually it was just a few milliseconds, and like strawberry fields, nothing was real, but more correctly and accurately, nothing is real. And thus ends the 22nd chapter of Extreme Gravity, Darla Trivit's Dream. Stay tuned for the next chapter, The Mirror Ring on the Asteroid. This has been brought to you by the fabulously fabulous, marvelously marvelous, wonderfully wonderful science fiction theater of the imagination.